Here in this video, we have all of your Tesla stock breaking news and analysis on the broad markets you need to know as an investor in Tesla stock. Specifically, this news that could be big for Tesla. US lawmakers want Biden to hike tariffs on Chinese-made vehicles. This is a bipartisan group of US lawmakers. Representative Mike Gallagher, a Republican who chairs a select committee on China, and the panel's top Democrat, Raja Krishnamoorthi, and Michigan Representatives Haley Stevens and John Molinar urged U.S. Trade Representatives Catherine Tai in a letter to boost 25% tariff on Chinese vehicles. They say, quote, "It is critical that tariffs on Chinese automobiles not only be maintained, but also increased to stem the expected surge in Chinese imports." The letter also stated, quote, "and the harm they pose to the American automotive industry and American workers and what actions should be taken to counter China's industrial strategy to dominate the global automobile market." This is also targeting automobiles made in Mexico by Chinese companies. If you don't understand why this could be so good for Tesla, well, let's break it down a little bit further. Electric vehicle sales only account for 7.9% of automobile sales in Q3 2023. So there is a lot of runway for growth in the US. Tesla's market share in the US, although it has been falling for Q3, was about 50%. The United States is where Tesla delivers the most vehicles on any given quarter. About 30% more vehicles are delivered in the US from Tesla every quarter than even China. That's because Tesla basically dominates the US EV market. And it looks like after the latest deals with GM, Ford, Stellantis, and really the cutback of investments in EVs, in EV infrastructure, as well as new vehicles themselves, it's really going to slow down any competition that Tesla would see from domestic automobile makers. Well, if China, like a NIO, in which we just reported here on this channel about 2 days ago, is trying to bring their vehicles into the US, if that were to happen, Tesla's lead could be eroded. Obviously, Tesla's probably going to always be the top EV producer for a long time, but if Chinese vehicles start to come in and take market share, well, that's less for Tesla. A hike on tariffs on Chinese-made EVs would solidify Tesla's dominance basically forever in the US. Domestic automobile makers, well, they can't compete anymore. They're not even trying to compete for mass marketplace next to Tesla. And if Chinese automobile makers cannot do it, well, Europe's definitely not. No European company is in a position to participate. Volkswagen is, well, not doing well in and of themselves. That's a whole different story. India, well, they don't really sell their vehicles here in the US. There's going to be really no competition for Tesla. For the mass market, that is. Now, this news just came out today, and judging by Tesla's 1% fall at the time of recording this video, it does not look like the trading algorithms or big money has picked up on this yet. And I'm sure they will eventually, and you'll start to see articles and people talking about this as positive for Tesla. But hey, you just got it sooner because you are a viewer of this channel. If you like what you have heard so far, well, you're really gonna like the rest of this video. Consider hitting that like button as well as subscribing to the channel and share this video with a buddy, a friend, a pal that needs to hear this. If you want to take it a step further and come trade with us live in real time every single day that I make a trade, or every single time that I make a trade, I send out an alert. I tell you exactly what I'm trading, why I'm trading it. It's never a recommendation, but it gives you a feel on why I'm making a trade. And you can ultimately learn and watch the progress and come grow, come ask me questions if you have questions. If trading and growing your portfolio is something you are interested in, that community could be great for you. Check out that link down below in the description of this video. But moving on from that, Tesla's option activity today looks pretty good relative to the 1% fall we're seeing in Tesla's stock price. You have seen 339 orders totaling $77.05 million with a positive order value of 54%. Tesla's short interest has recently spiked a little bit more, and now you're sitting at $18.53 billion worth of short positions. And remember, Tesla is so bullish usually on bullish days for the markets and super bearish on bearish days for the markets because of this. Tesla's short position accounts for well over 2% of the entire stock market's short positioning. So that's no surprise. Now, I do think Tesla stock could be about to go potentially much higher. We did get confirmation of this rally from Fed Jerome Powell today. As you can see, Fed Jerome Powell made openings remarks at the conference celebrating the 100th year since the Fed's Division of Research and Statistics was created in 1923. Powell spoke at 9:15 a.m. today Eastern Standard Time and did not comment on monetary policy or the economic outlook. This was Powell's first chance since the FOMC press conference to send stocks lower and even send bond yields higher if he wanted to. This was Powell's chance to either confirm this rally or reject this rally. And just his lack of comment is basically confirming this market rally. I do think, broadly speaking, the reason why the markets are pretty flat, if not down actually today, is just because of the aggressiveness of this rally we have seen lately. It wouldn't surprise me for stocks to trade sideways for a period of time without really doing all too much. But for anyone that did not watch the last video put out on the channel, this has got to be one of the clearest long-term cup and handle formations that I have ever seen, period. This is like literally textbook. You have your cup, you have your handle, and that's what a typical cup and handle is. And then you get the breakout to the upside. Now you have actually broken out to the upside. You've broke above this downtrending line of resistance. And even today, you remain above that. If you're looking at the QQQ, you're going to have to fall under about 369 to actually see this get rejected. The QQQ is at 372. So you're a couple dollars above this downtrending line. I think that does mean over the next couple of weeks, stocks are probably going higher. The next big catalyst we are going to have is this Friday and another speech from Fed Jerome Powell today. And then after that, all you really have is your inflation data coming over the next 10 days or so. So without any unprecedented events or bad data or bad news from the Fed, you're probably going to see Tesla stock rise to in between about 240 and 250 over the next coming weeks, and that is how I am positioned in Tesla. But a big thing that I've been stressing lately is this is not the time to be all in this market, in my personal opinion. I think you really want to have a lot of cash on the sidelines as much as possible to take advantage of any recession fears when they come, probably in the beginning of 2024, because ultimately I think stocks will end up going lower in the beginning of the new year as recession fears mount and as company earnings come under pressure. Let's now get into all of your Tesla stock news you need to know on the day today. Tesla's upgraded Model 3 Highlands will now feature HEPA filters. HEPA filters not only filter 99.97% of fine particle matter and gas pollutants, but also effectively filter bacteria, viruses, and pollen in the air. This means that all Model S, X, 3, and Y vehicles, including the upgraded Model 3 Highlands, will be fitted with HEPA filters. The upgraded Model 3 Highland ranked 9th last week in weekly sales of Chinese cars. And we'll see if they can move on to a higher rank. This was the first full week of Highland deliveries. So I'm sure there's a backlog, and I'm sure Tesla is just trying to catch up. And I would almost be willing to bet that this rank's going to go much higher. Sawyer Merritt posted this on his X account last night. Lucid lost $433,081 for every vehicle that they delivered in Q3 2023. Elon Musk actually commented on this and says maybe they can make it up in volume. I don't know if that's like a joke, because they've only delivered 8,000 vehicles this year, originally shooting for over 20,000. I don't know if it's a joke, but I don't think that's going to happen. President Joe Biden on Thursday will meet with UAW President Shawn Fain, a White House official said. This has been one of the biggest things that has caused fear in Tesla stock investors as of lately. This fear that the UAW is going to target Tesla over the next coming years and get Tesla workers to unionize, thus putting Tesla in an even worse position. I think Tesla is a little bit different than these other automakers. It's different in a lot of different ways, but most notably, Tesla is more than an auto company. And I don't think, or at least it doesn't look like right now, Tesla employees actually want to unionize. But in the grand scope of things, I don't think it's going to hurt Tesla nearly as much as it will hurt these legacy automakers, because Tesla is just much more profitable. Tesla already has a wide range of facilities and infrastructure that is already built. Tesla already has 50,000 superchargers. They've already solidified themselves as the gas station of EVs. So there's not as much investment that needs to be done on the nitty-gritty side of Tesla's business. A lot of that's already done, whereas your other EV makers are so far behind the curve, they're going to have to spend a lot of money just to try and catch up. And that looks futile at this point. So Tesla is in a lot better position to handle the UAW. Tesla's finally released a die-cast 1 to 18 scale Model Y for $195 in the US. This features 180 plus metal and plastic parts, functioning doors, front trunk and rear liftgate, panoramic glass roof, rubber tires, and steerable wheels. I mean, pretty cool if you're someone that does collect these things. It's remarkably correct to the actual Model 3. Tesla Asia shared to their X account from Shenzhen, China, the first deliveries of the upgraded Model 3, and they definitely went all out for these. Cruise is recalling 950 driverless cars from the roads across the United States following a crash involving one of its robotaxis, and will likely issue more recalls, General Motors self-driving unit said. This is actually bad news for Tesla. I know some people are under the narrative that anyone that competes with Tesla, you probably don't want them to do well. But when it comes down to full self-driving technology, that's actually not the case. Cruise and Tesla are in two different fields. Cruise is a select city-based robotaxi network. FSD is going to be not only just civilian use, but also for robotaxi services as well. But Tesla is going to be able to launch on a wide scale, whereas Cruise really has to go from city to city to city. They can't launch in like 20 different cities at a time or 30 different cities at a time. They just don't have that data. They need to map out their roads, right? So any setback that you're seeing for Cruise is really on a regulatory front bad news for Tesla. It's going to make the process to getting Teslas in more cities, once Tesla has their robotaxi technology, potentially a lot more difficult if Cruise is facing these difficulties first. You could make the argument that if Cruise is going through this process of getting reevaluated and changing their software, that could be positive for Tesla, because once Cruise vehicles are out on the road, maybe it's going to be a little bit easier for Tesla to get through that paperwork per se. But all in all, it's not good news. This, on the other hand, is great news. Indian Commerce Minister Goyal will meet Elon Musk in the United States next week as the two sides look to advance Tesla's plan to enter the South Asian market. We actually covered this in yesterday's video, but the Indian Prime Minister's office has asked the department to fast-track approvals for Tesla to enter the country by January of 2024. The reason Tesla has not been selling vehicles in India is because there is a 100% tariff, essentially a tax on foreign-made vehicles above $40,000 entering into the country. It's a 40% duty on fully assembled electric vehicles less than $40,000. Now, clearly, if Tesla is going to be selling vehicles in India, it's going to be a lot lower than that. But it's probably going to come with a commitment to build a gigafactory in India, which in all reality, you want Tesla in India anyways, because India is the most populous country. They are going to develop and continue to develop for many, many years. That's just a huge opportunity for Tesla, especially on your small scale vehicles, like your $25,000 vehicle would be perfect for India. And maybe wouldn't cannibalize the Model 3 or the Model Y or other vehicles. Specifically for India, it would make sense for that lower priced vehicle. The 2025 Ram 1500 Ram Charger from Stellantis is an all-electric truck, but it does have a gas-powered generator. It says the result is an electric truck with extra range for road trips and towing. So basically like a hybrid. And the Cybertruck is seen up in Alaska today, presumably just doing some final testing before that delivery event on November 30th, later in this month. Here you can see a photo of a lot of new Highlands in Italy. The global BEV adoption continues to increase despite what many out there are claiming regarding a decrease. Year-over-year growth looks healthy, and this is what counts, not quarter over quarter. And that's true. When you're looking at any given quarter, sure, you can fall. Like an example, Q4 2022, you were at 11.2%. By Q1 2023, you were at 9.1%. Like, that happens, okay? You do see drops on a quarter-over-quarter basis. Even back here in Q4 2021, you were at 8.7%. By Q1 2022, you dropped to 7.6%. That does happen from time to time. You are currently sitting at 11.8%, and this is the highest it's ever been at. This is great news for anyone of you guys that are Tesla stock investors. And you really shouldn't listen to the other BS out there that financial media does portray. Stocks are mostly rebounding heading into the end of the day today, including Tesla. You are now only down 0.65% at the time of recording this video. And look at this, ladies and gentlemen. The bulls and the bears are fighting tooth and nail right now around this 200-day moving average. You're holding support. It looks like the last 4 days into the close. Now, this day right here on November 6th, you actually closed a little bit under, but these other 3 days you have been right on or above that 200-day moving average. But notice how the last 3 days you have seen big down moves intraday that get eaten up into the end of the day. And notice right here, November 6th was the lowest intraday move at about $215.03. Yesterday's intraday low was about $215.70. And today, as long as we don't hit a new low, would be $217.71. So you're hitting higher lows and holding your 200-day moving average. That's going to set you up for a move to the upside. The RSI is sitting at 45.07. Neutral is 50. So you're technically oversold at this point, which could then lead to that bounce as well to the upside. On your MACD, the MACD is pretty dang negative. You're negative 8.24 on the MACD line. The signal line is negative 0.03. So you're pretty negative, but short term, you want to see the yellow line above the blue line. And that's exactly what you're seeing right now, as you can see from my cursor. So that's actually good here for the short term with Tesla stock. 10-year treasury yields today are continuing to slide down 6 basis points, hitting a new low that you haven't seen since back here in September. But considering yields had went to 5%, you have dropped about 50 basis points, the equivalent of 2 rate cuts within the last 2 weeks. That is helping to support stocks. The 10 and 2-year yield curve inversion is continuing to invert here today. That is actually great news, because once you actually uninvert, you really got to start that recession stop clock, stopwatch, whatever you want to call it, because anytime you have actually uninverted, you usually go into a recession within 3 to 6 months after that. Tesla inventory numbers across all of their products continue to fall, or at least stay sideways here today. Tesla's Google Trend data is actually increasing yet again for the Cybertruck. Presumably as we get closer to November 30th, you will, and then after November 30th, you're going to see a lot more search attention. And what's actually interesting is your Model 3 is starting to uptick, where your Model Y is staying pretty flat, actually decreasing by 1 point. And Tesla continues to run about 300 ads on Google, most of these being targeted for US consumers, a couple ads for Europe, and some ads for energy products in Australia. EPS estimates for Q4 currently sit at 74 cents of EPS. This is down 3 months ago from 91 cents. Tomorrow, we are expecting Tesla is going to raise prices for the Model 3 and the Model Y in China, and it looks like Wall Street just doesn't realize this, so we could actually wake up to pretty good news for Tesla. And this should raise EPS estimates. This should overall boost Tesla's numbers, right? It should be fundamentally positive. It should show, maybe more than the fundamentals will, good demand over in China. And I think that's what Tesla stock investors, at least big money, want to see as of right now. So that is going to go ahead and conclude this video. Hit that like button, as well as subscribe to the channel. Source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. If you guys want to take it a step further, just support the channel a little bit every month. You can join as a member to the channel. That's really just if you want to support the channel, you want to continue to make these videos possible. Obviously, no obligation to do that. But if you guys also want to come trade with us live in real time, link down below in the description of this video. I send out my trade alerts. You can come grow with the community. You can get access to a free trading course when that does come out. It's a lot of work. We're going in depth on trading A to Z, but also how the markets work. The psychology of the markets, I think, is a little bit more important than even trading strategies themselves, or how to employ those. So that's going to be free to anyone that is a part of the trading community that is signed up on Patreon when that does come out. Again, I don't know if it's going to be within a month from now. I don't know if it's going to be 6 months from now, but that course will be coming out, and it will be free for all of you guys that are a part of that. I will be paying for that myself, so it's actually going to cost me money to do that. So that is it, guys. Quick shout out to myself. If you guys want to join, link down below in the description of this video. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.